Several teams have expressed dissatisfaction with the situation following a weekend of intense political drama in Canada over the FIA's intervention in an attempt to reduce car bouncing. On Saturday, at a team's principals meeting, Ferrari team boss Mattia Binotto and Horner confronted Wolff about over-dramatizing his team's problems in order to get the FIA involved. Their stance enraged Wolff, who accused them of prioritizing political gain over driver safety. Horner, on the other hand, is adamant that Mercedes' problems have nothing to do with flaws in the new F1 rules, which have resulted in stiffly set-up ground effect cars for 2022. Instead, he believes the problem stems from Mercedes' decision to design its W13 car in such a way that it performs best when driven very close to the ground. When asked if the porpoising debate is more about politics than safety, Horner told motorsports.com, "It's clear that the team is to blame. If it isn't affecting others, they have control over how they deal with it. I'm aware that other motorists have expressed their dissatisfaction. Porpoising has never been a source of complaint among our drivers. They've stated that certain circuits could benefit from some cleaning and possibly resurfacing. We haven't had any problems with bouncing though. The issue is that they're driving their car in such a stiff manner. Their concept rather than the regulation, I believe, is the problem." Horner was unimpressed with the way the FIA intervened in the matter by issuing a technical directive on the eve of the Canadian Grand Prix as teams were en route to the race. He also expressed concerns shared by other teams about how Mercedes was able to fit a second stay to its car so quickly, sparking speculation about whether Mercedes had advanced knowledge of what was going on. "There's a procedure for introducing these things," he explained. "I think the second stay was particularly disappointing. It has to be discussed in a technical forum which is overtly biased toward resolving the problems of one team, which was the only team that showed up with it, even before the TD. So think about it." The FIA is meeting with technical directors this week to try to make progress on the porpoising issue as part of a medium-term plan to give teams more control over things starting in 2023 through rule changes. Horner, on the other hand, is skeptical about the need for drastic measures, believing that by next year, all teams will be on top of the situation. "You have some of the best engineering talent in the world," he said, "and things will converge. I doubt we'll be talking about bouncing next year, even if regulations aren't changed. Because these cars are still relatively new, I believe that as teams improve their cars, you'll see them begin to address some of these issues. And you can just change technical regulations in the middle of the season. If a car is dangerous, a team shouldn't field it. It has that choice. Or the FIA, if they feel an individual car is dangerous, they always have a black flag at their disposal." Many teams are dissatisfied with the situation after a weekend of intense political dramas in Canada over the FIA's intervention to reduce car bounces. When Ferrari team bosses Mattia Binotto and Horner confronted Wolff over-dramatizing the team's problems to support the FIA's involvement, matters took the lead at the team headmasters meeting on Saturday. A team should not field a dangerous car if it has the option to do so. The FIA, on the other hand, has a black flag at their disposal if they believe a particular car is dangerous. After a weekend of intense political drama in Canada over the FIA's intervention to reduce car bounces, many teams are dissatisfied with the situation. Matters took the lead at the team headmasters meeting on Saturday when Ferrari team bosses Mattia Binotto and Horner confronted Wolff about over-dramatizing the team's problems to support the FIA's involvement. Wolff was enraged by their stance and accused them of putting political interests ahead of the driver's safety. The Mercedes issue has nothing to do with the flaws in the new F1 regulations for 2022, which resulted in a solidly set-up ground effect vehicle. But Horner is unflappable. Instead, he believes that simply pointing the W13 car concept in the wrong direction will solve the problem, as Mercedes performs best when it's running very close to the ground. When asked if he thought the porpoising debate was more about politics than security, Horner told motorsports.com, "It outnumbers all other automobiles. It is without a doubt contingent on the team. It can deal with it within their control if it doesn't affect others. I'm aware that other drivers have been instructed to file a complaint. Porpoising has never been a problem for any of our drivers. They've cleaned up a specific circuit and are likely to resurf it. It's said to be beneficial. However, no bounces have occurred. The issue is that they're extremely hard on the car. Their concept, rather than being a regulation, I believe is a problem." Horner was dissatisfied with the FIA's involvement in the matter, which included issuing a technical directive the night before the Canadian Grand Prix when the team entered the race. He also shared other teams' concerns about how Mercedes was able to quickly adapt his second stay to the car and what the German carmaker is doing. "To introduce these things, there is a process," he explained. "I believe my second stay was the most dissatisfying. It needs to be discussed in the tech forum, and it's clearly biased toward organizing the issues of one team It was the only team that showed up here before the TD, so fix it. This week, the FIA will meet with the technical director to discuss the porpoising situation. Because there are still medium-term plans to fine-tune the rules to give the team the ability to manage things starting in 2023, this is the case. Horner, on the other hand, is dubious about the need to take the risk, believing that by next year, all teams will have solved the problem. You have some of the best engineering talent in the world, he predicted. We won't be able to sit here next year to discuss bounces even if the regulations are kept in place. These automobiles are still in their early stages of development. As the team continues to develop the car, some of these issues will most likely be addressed, and technical regulations will inevitably be implemented in the middle of the season. There's nothing that can be done about it. The team should not keep a car if it's dangerous. It's a decision you have to make. Alternatively, if an individual car appears to be dangerous, the FIA may use the black flag.